Y'all hear about what this former WNBA player said about LeBron James? This was 3 years ago when she said this too. With all the stuff going on nowadays, with all these speculation, allegations, I don't know.
Okay, let's make this one quick. People are wondering why Drake dissed LeBron. Well, actually, he didn't. He more so expressed his feelings at LeBron.
I'm back, boy, FITTI to the E, and today we're going to be taking a look at these creepy TikTok videos. I know I haven't posted in a little bit. I've been traveling and dealing with some family issues. You know how it is sometimes. Like, you just got to take a break off. It says that 75% of you guys are not subscribed, so make sure to subscribe. It's 2025, so happy New Year's to you guys. We're already like 9 days in and a lot of crazy stuff have been happening. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna take a look at that in this video today, so make sure to watch till the end. Yeah, I actually have some friends in Cali and they'll be telling me it looks like a complete apocalypse down there. Like, that should be so scary. If you're in California, let me know your situation. Hopefully you're safe, and let me know how it is down there.
Small Santa Claus was also Toronto's scariest serial killer. 67-year-old Bruce MacArthur murdered 8 men in downtown Toronto from 2010 to 2018. He was previously married with a woman and had 2 children with her, but little did they know about his double life. Many people who knew Bruce described him as sweet and outgoing, and they never imagined he would do something like this. In 2010, gay men in Toronto began going missing, and unfortunately, after some time, their cases stopped getting so much attention. Bruce first met these men on dating apps, and when he met them in person, he took their lives. He targeted marginalized men, which in this case were gay men of color. He strangled them and then dismembered their bodies and then put their body parts in planters. Bruce even took photos of his victims when they were alive and then deceased. This is one of his victims who got away after almost being murdered by Bruce. In 2018, police began discovering dismembered body parts of some of the 8 missing men on the property of one of Bruce's clients who hired him as a landscaper. And finally, in 2019, Bruce pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison.
Here are some amazing facts that you didn't know. Created in Germany, ESS Lack is the world's first fully edible spray paint. It comes in blue, silver, red, and gold. Don't tell me you don't want to eat a gold chicken. In order to save workers' time during the construction of the World Trade Center, a mobile subway restaurant was installed for their lunches that moved up the building as they completed each floor. This incredible sculpture is by artist Zenos Fridakis and is located in Philadelphia in the United States. It's called Freedom. This is Emmanuel Joseph Bishop. He has Down syndrome, and from the age of just 15, he's been able to speak English, French, Latin, and Spanish, fluently plays the violin, and has 6 junior Down syndrome world records. In 2011, archaeologists discovered at the site of the old World Trade Centers in New York City half of an 18th century ship that was once believed to be used by merchants.
This is the story of the worst shark attack in human history. On July 16, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was on a secret mission to bring parts and machinery to help construct the atomic bombs. These bombs, of course, would end the Second World War just a month later. The ship was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and en route to a couple of islands off the coast of Asia. And on board the ship was over 1,100 US Navy soldiers. However, on the night of the 16th, a Japanese submarine launched a torpedo which struck the USS Indianapolis. And within just 12 minutes, the entire ship was completely sunken underwater. And about 300 out of the 1,100 men on board couldn't escape the ship in time. And the other 900 or so men were stranded floating in the middle of the ocean. And within a few minutes, it became apparent to the soldiers that there were hundreds of hungry sharks right below them. Screams began to be heard coming from almost every direction in the pitch black darkness. And hundreds of soldiers began to be picked off one by one. When it was all said and done, only 317 men survived the disaster, meaning that close to 600 men were killed by sharks that night.
They've been saying for the longest, though, that sharks don't really like eating humans. Like, I've heard that we get mistaken for seals. That's why they eat us. But, like, at the same time, if they just ate 600 people, wouldn't you think like after the first one they'd be like, nah, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying?
This is the horrific result of inbreeding. Born in 1661, King Charles II of Spain was the product of 200 years of incest that intended to strengthen the family line. He was breastfed until the age of 4 and never fully learned how to walk. Before reaching the age of 6, Charles miraculously survived a series of diseases, including chickenpox, measles, rubella, and smallpox. As an adult, he was completely illiterate and could barely chew or speak due to his deformed jaw and enlarged tongue. He was so ugly and disfigured that his own wife was terrified of him. Renowned historians Will and Ariel Durant vividly described him as short, lame, epileptic, senile, and completely bald before 35. Always on the verge of death, but completely baffling Christendom by continuing to live. His autopsy report revealed disturbing findings, stating that his heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines gangrenous and rotten. He had a single testicle black as coal, and his head was full of water.
Life advice that could save your life one day. If you're ever falling towards water in a car, open your windows immediately. If you don't, the water pressure will make it impossible to escape. If you're alone at night and you're in a shady area, pretend to call someone and make sure to mention a time of arrival and destination. You can still make an emergency call on your phone even if you have no credit or bars of reception on your network. Your phone will use any surrounding network. Never leave ice packs on wounds or swelling for more than 15 minutes. This could cause irreversible nerve damage. And if a service dog comes up to you seeming to want attention, immediately follow them and locate their owner. The dog could be using you as a last resort to get help.
I feel like if you fell off a bridge though with a car and it did end up landing in the water, I don't necessarily think you would survive that, right? Because of the surface tension. Wouldn't the car like kind of just explode on itself, or not explode, but like implode? Wouldn't the car kind of just like crush you as it hits the water, or would you just sink it? I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how high the bridge is.
Bro, what is even happening this year? Donald Trump is now reportedly working on a deal to buy Greenland. Yeah. Purchase a country. And what's crazier is that America has actually tried to buy Greenland before. I mean, at the start, we all thought that Trump was joking, but now he is sending his son, along with other various representatives, to travel there today. Trump even posted last night saying, Greenland is an incredible place and the people will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation. Bro said when. Now, while Greenland has its own government, it still remains under the Kingdom of Denmark. And in 1946, the US offered Denmark 100 million for the resource-rich island, but were swiftly rejected. And I think it's also important to note that Greenland cannot simply be purchased like real estate. Its population, although only 56,000, have the right to self-determination under international law, meaning they must consent to any major changes. But if enough people in Greenland want to be purchased by the US, who knows? Maybe a 51st state is possible. So the question is, do you think that America should buy Greenland or stay away?
Apparently Trump wants to buy Canada as well. If you're from Canada, what do you think about that? Would you want to join the United States? Like, I'm not too sure what the Canada situation is, but like I do know that Trump said that he wanted to get Canada as get Canada part of the United States. If you're from Canada, let me know what you think about that. But all I know is that if it does happen, the first day it happens, I'm there.
2 alien bodies were presented to the Mexican Congress yesterday by a so-called UFO expert. They were supposedly found in Peru and said to be over 1,000 years old. Now, the guy who found these alien bodies said that he didn't get them from a UFO crash. No. You see, he found them fossilized in an algae mine. And after running some tests, it was found that their DNA was over 30% unknown, meaning that they're also not products of evolution. Now, we just have to take a step back here for a second, because this guy who's presenting these aliens also presented some aliens back in 2015. But you see, those aliens he claimed he found back in 2015 actually turned out to be just deformed human children. But now he's saying that he's really got it and that these are the real aliens. But I also don't think that when humans finally find aliens that they're gonna look exactly like they do in the movies. It would just be too perfect. I think aliens are gonna end up looking something like this. And for reference, this creature actually does exist in our oceans. And I'm honestly more scared of what's lurking down there than what's lurking out in space, real or not.
5 arrests have been made in the death of actor Matthew Perry, including 2 doctors, his assistant, and the ketamine queen. Perry revealed his decades-long struggle with addiction in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lover, and the Big Terrible Thing. and how he was prescribed Vicodin after a jet ski accident on a film set in 1997. Eventually, Perry was taking up to 55 pills per day. In 2023, Perry was receiving ketamine infusions for anxiety and depression, but soon slipped back into his addiction and started getting it illegally as well. And that's when 2 medical doctors started providing him the drug off the record. One of the doctors that's been arrested wrote, quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay, and let's find out." For a vial that cost them $12, they were charging Perry thousands of dollars. Perry eventually sought out a new source because of these expenses, one of them being Jasveen Sangha, known as the Ketamine Queen, who's also been charged in connection with another man's overdose back in 2019. On October 23rd of last year, Perry was found face down in his hot tub. He died as a result of acute effects of ketamine and drowning. Shortly after this, the defendants tried to cover up their involvement by deleting text messages and apparently forging medical records. Authorities say the Ketamine Queen sold the drug to Perry's assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, who injected Perry the day he died, and the syringe was provided by Dr. P, who sold drugs to Perry in the past. 2 defendants, including Perry's assistant, have pleaded guilty to charges already, and a third has agreed to plead guilty. Dr. P and the Ketamine Queen could face life in prison.
This is proof that we aren't alone. Up first, in the movie Moana, we all remember this clip, right? Never thought anything of it, right? That is until you notice there is a mountain on Earth that looks exactly like that one in the movie. You can see the legs, the shoulder, and the head. And it raises the question, was there giants roaming Earth? And if so, did they base this movie off of it?
She stabbed her boyfriend in the eye with needles because he was looking at other women. So this happened in Florida, where 44-year-old Sandra Jimenez lost it after her and her boyfriend of 8 years were arguing about him looking at other women. But on this specific Saturday night, when the couple arrived home, Sandra attacked him when he went to lay down. She allegedly jumped on top of him with 2 syringes in her hand and jabbed him in the eye. And apparently these needles were meant to vaccinate their dogs against rabies. Sandra was then found sleeping in her car and was arrested and charged with felony aggravated battery. Can we start normalizing breaking up with our partners instead of trying to kill them?
Not gonna lie, I thought it already was the normal. I don't know like where they got this other thing from, but like usually, I mean, when you're done, you're done. You know what I'm saying? You don't take them out.
These are the 3 worst jails on Earth. At number 3, we have the Scorpion Jail in Egypt. It's located in the middle of the desert, so it's boiling hot all year round. All jail cells are extremely small, and you're in there all by yourself. There's literally no bed or nothing. They also have a coffin jail there where they put you in a coffin and nail you shut and wait to die. At number 2, the Bangkok Hilton. You first get thrown into a cell with around 20 people, with no beds and just a bucket in the middle of the room for a toilet. And this place is so corrupt that it's either run by the prison guards who are evil or the inmates who are also evil. At number 1, we have the Black Dolphin Jail in Russia. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no chance of survival if you escape. And everywhere you go, you're blindfolded, so you have no idea where you're going. The jails also have 3 layers of bars, so it's impossible to get out. And the guards here are extremely violent and harsh. And if you do anything wrong, they will most likely kill you. I have been gone 1 week, and the shit between Russia and NATO has got so bad that the first thing I see when I get back is Kim saying, "Never before has the threat of nuclear war been greater." Nice. I am only finding out today that after months of refusing, Joe Biden actually gave Ukraine permission to use US and UK supplied long-range missiles to strike targets inside Russia. Hearing this, Putin was freaking pissed, so he not only changed Russia's nuclear doctrine to essentially use nuclear weapons for less, but he also unveiled a brand new type of missile. Oh, and then he used that to strike a city in Ukraine, triggering explosions that went on for 3 hours. And if that wasn't enough, a French media outlet reported that the UK and France have been discussing doing a North Korea and then deploying troops to Ukraine. However, the UK's foreign secretary has since denied these claims. The head of NATO's military committee urged businesses to prepare for a wartime scenario and even discussed the possibility of preemptive strikes against targets in Russia, keeping in mind that NATO is strictly a defensive alliance. Oh, and just to top it all off, the New York Times even reported that some unidentified Western officials had suggested that Joe Biden could give Ukraine nuclear weapons. It's good to be back.
Dirty facts about history that they'll never teach you in school, Part 10. During Bill Clinton's sexual affair with Monica Lewinsky, she inhaled his front tail several times while he was talking on the phone with a member of Congress. On one occasion, the president inserted a cigar up Lewinsky's sniz, then put the cigar in his mouth and told her he liked it. During another encounter, Lewinsky was performing on Clinton before his erectoplasm got all over her blue dress. She kept the stained dress as an insurance policy, and it was later used as key evidence against Clinton. During World War I, French prostitutes with severe cases of syphilis charged higher rates than uninfected prostitutes. This was because soldiers infected with syphilis would be removed from the front line. In the 1950s, the KGB tried to blackmail the president of Indonesia by getting him to come to Moscow, where a bunch of women persuaded him to have intercourse with them. When the KGB showed him the footage, the president asked for extra copies, saying the Indonesian people would be proud.
This is how much of different foods you need to eat to kill you, part 2. Up first, if you drink 14 bottles of water in one sitting, you will die because your kidneys cannot process it. But I don't imagine anybody being that thirsty. Next up, if you're a fan of cherries, you would have to eat 3 cherry seeds in one sitting to die. This is because they contain cyanide. Finally, you would have to eat 24 bottles of toothpaste to die. Now, I recommend that nobody tries this, and I'm sure that nobody will, but the more you know, the better.
If you're going to be in Paris this month, you might want to avoid this guy, especially if you're around 12 years old. In 2014, Steven Vandeveld was a rising star in the Netherlands for beach volleyball, but like a judge put it, he also had a dark side. At some point, he starts messaging a 12-year-old girl on Facebook and continued to groom her via Snapchat and Skype. In August of that year, after 3 to 4 months of chatting, he traveled to England to meet her. Keep in mind, Steven is 19 years old at this time, and he knew this girl was 12. When the girl's mother was out of the house, Steven supplied her with alcohol before R-wording her several times, and he did this again at a lake nearby. The next day, he flies back home, probably assuming he's going to get away with it. But in January 2016, he was extradited back to the UK and arrested. 2 months later, he pleads guilty to 3 counts of R-wording a minor. The victim ended up making a statement in court about how this traumatic experience affected her, saying that she had at times harmed herself and even survived an OD. A UK judge sentenced him to 4 years in prison and basically said his dreams of performing at the Olympics were crushed. But unfortunately, he was wrong. His conviction was substituted for Dutch law, which was basically way less, and he only served 1 year in prison. In his first interview talking about the crime in 2018, he said that he was a lost teenager still figuring things out. Apparently, Steven has shown no remorse, and the people around him don't seem to care at all. He's currently married with a young child and bound for the 2024 Olympics.
Dude, that's wild. That's got to be one of the luckiest dudes of all time. Not only did his sentence get reduced from 4 years, which is still not even a lot, to 1 year, his dream did come true. He actually did go on to the Olympics, so that's crazy. He's got to be one of the luckiest people of all time.
Scientists are planning to bring back these prehistoric animals. Recently, a company based in Dallas, Texas by the name of Colossal Biosciences announced that they've raised over $150 million to bring back these 2 extinct animals. The company specializes in bioscience and genetics, and they believe that within the next 5 years, they'll be able to bring back the woolly mammoth, along with the dodo bird, which has been extinct for a few hundred years. The company claims that through using the DNA found in frozen woolly mammoths that died thousands and thousands of years ago, they'll be able to fuse it with the DNA of a modern-day Asian elephant to create a living woolly mammoth. They're claiming that we could be seeing living and breathing woolly mammoths within the next 4 years. The company is planning to use this technology to bring back animals that go extinct in the future, but many people believe that they shouldn't be messing with nature. What do you guys think?
In my head, it's like, what do we get from bringing them back? You know what I'm saying? They're already gone. It's not like anything crazy is going to happen if they come back.
Look at what just happened in Saudi Arabia's Riyadh airport. There was a flight to China that was delayed. I mean, delays are pretty common in airports. So a big crowd of Chinese people started to protest. But not only that, the things they were chanting got people very, very confused. You know, People these days protest for the dumbest reasons.
Crocodiles are pretending to drown to prey on humans. Spreading this could end up saving someone's life. Some crocodiles in Indonesia have been recorded acting very odd in the scariest way possible. You see, what these crocs are doing is they are going on their back and putting just their hands above the water, and they're flailing their hands in a way that mimics the way a human would look while drowning. Now, if you saw this from afar, it would probably look exactly like a human hand in the water, and it's believed that that is exactly what the crocs are trying to get you to think. Now, the crocodiles acting this way has some very scary implications. I mean, for them to learn to act like this, they would have had to observe someone drowning from afar. Or maybe they saw it while they were dragging someone under, which is a scarier implication. But the scariest implication, in my opinion, is that they know that this will attract other humans to come and rescue the person. Meaning that they had to not only see someone drown, but also see someone come over to save that person that is drowning. So if these crocs start getting smart enough, they might start using real drowning people as bait, so they can get a 2-for-1 meal when someone inevitably comes to save them.
I'm not gonna lie, who thought crocs were that smart? I did not think them boys were that smart. I mean, I'm thinking about it like either one, they see something like that happen and then they learn, or two, it's like, you know, or two, a trainer taught them how to do that and they got like treats or something. That's my thoughts.
Scary stories about Disneyland, except this one there's actual proof. One time a guy went to Disneyland and was waiting to ride the roller coaster on Space Mountain. He was standing in line when a guy with red hair came up to him and started talking to him. He seemed nice, but he was a little bit odd. But the thing is, when the ride was over, this red-haired man literally vanished into thin air. The guest reported this incident and was told that he was alone the entire time. This guest might have just encountered a ghost people know as Mr. One Way. Rumor has it that he's the ghost of a man who passed away while on the ride in the 1970s. He always vanishes right before the ride is over, and he likes to talk to people who are riding the roller coaster alone. People have also reported seeing him in the cast member locker rooms. Follow if you want a part 2 because there's so many ghost stories about Disneyland.
This father who murdered his 2 teenage daughters because they started into a mother falling going to the FBI.
When it back to the argument at home, no one caught a water gun part 1.
This isn't true.
Toys that saved lives, part 1. Back in 2016, when a group of kids were outside having a water gun fight, they realized that one of the apartments in their complex caught on fire. So the kids immediately sprung into action and started spraying the flames with their water guns. By the time the fire department arrived, there was no longer a fire. Next, in 2017, when a man got into a nasty argument at home, a young woman pulled out a knife on the man. Well, he grabbed the closest object near him, which was a toy lightsaber. He then somehow was able to fend off several knife attacks thanks to the toy lightsaber. Finally, from a story in 2020, a young girl was playing with a toy car outside when a wild raccoon came out of nowhere and lunged at the girl. Well, the girl then threw her toy car directly at the raccoon, distracting the raccoon long enough so she can run inside safely.
Real Disney ghost stories sent in by you guys, part 1. These Disneyland cast members wish to remain anonymous, but here are some stories about the little girl who haunts California Adventure. When I worked in Disney California Adventure, we would sometimes see a little girl and she would show up in the bakery tour alone. And usually by the time we figured out she was alone, she's gone. We asked another cast in the bakery and they said she comes by every now and then and wanders all the way to Little Mermaid. Before Disney California Adventure was built, it was a parking lot and she was hit by a tram, and since then her ghost has haunted the area. It's funny because there's a pattern here. Another cast member wrote to me about this little girl as well in Disney California Adventure. First of all, he says that every land has some sort of ghost. Like every little land in Disneyland has something that haunts it, which is crazy. The ghost I experienced the most and will stay with me is the little girl in the Little Mermaid building. She also likes to walk around on the Grizzly Peak side. She even pulled my keys out of my pocket because I wouldn't respond to her while I was cleaning a restroom and she was pounding a stall door. What? That is so scary. Here's another ghost story about the same girl. Apparently her name is Jennifer. I work at the restaurant on Buena Vista Street in California Adventure. Jennifer is very well known by cast members. She likes to lock the women's restroom doors. She turns candlesticks on the walls upstairs. I've heard a faint scream in the hallway on the second floor. She's pulled my hair a couple times, and she has shown herself to our custodial at 3 a.m. Have you ever had an encounter with this little girl spirit at Disney California Adventure?
Actually never been to Disney World. I feel like this year I'm definitely gotta go there. And if I see that girl or if I see anything about that, I gotta report it. Like, that's crazy.
Influencer was arrested after flaunting stolen goods to her 300,000 followers on TikTok. 22-year-old Marlena Velez took $500 worth of items to the self-checkout at a Target and scanned them with a fake barcode that listed them at cheaper prices. Police posted surveillance images of Velez online, which led to an anonymous tip to Marlena's socials, where they found her flaunting the items that she'd stolen to her hundreds of thousands of followers. Cops identified and later brought her into custody on charges of petty theft.
I'm not gonna lie, my generation, Gen Z, and the whole influencer scene, it's so stupid, bro. Like, if you're gonna do a crime like that, like, why would you post it to like so millions of people could see? Like, honestly, she got caught and she honestly deserves it, because like, she could have easily, like, I'm not saying you should do anything like this, but she could have easily did it and just, you know what I'm saying, been out, told a couple homies, that's it. But she wanted to go post it online to her 300,000 followers, and I doubt it only got 300,000 views, because it made the news, so that shit got definitely millions of views.
Public school system's failing, and this is proof. Why do we forget about Gibbons? Y'all know about gorillas, chimps but a different R rating, and this guy. Gibbons got left behind and left off the great apes lunch table. Not this time. I said this for gorillas, but Gibbons are really a whole walking comedy special without even trying. They're famous for the way they get from A to B, and there's actually a term for this. It's called brachiating. He sure does. It also means they have the most out-of-pocket wingspan nature's ever seen. Yo, it's a good thing they're still alive, because finding a fossil that could jump rope its own skeleton, that Jumanji junk would have put us in another pandemic. There's about 20 strains of this arms longer than a prohibition tree goblin seasoning the earth, including the white-cheeked gibbon, which definitely isn't venom. Apparently, out of all the apes, they're the only ones that mate for life. Including us. That's right, the throat scroll. Well, it's basically a built-in megaphone meant to amplify their calls. Why do they call? Well, some have a door, some have a gate, but gibbons, nah, they mark territory off straight. Basically, they use it to announce the borders of their turf, and you can hear it a mile out. In fact, gibbon couples will sing duets throughout the day, and sometimes they'll even bring the kids to make it a family matter. Also, if you're curious, for these ones, they're all born golden to, you know, blend in, but they all turn black when they're 6 months old. The males stay that way, but the females revert back to gold when they're older. So you can go back. They're silly, whimsical, tiger-bullying branch merchants with more reach than Go-Go Gadget that could, let's be real, probably rip your arm off if they really wanted to. They may not be great apes, but they are to me.
And then committing the alleged crime. You see her loading up her car after shopping. This all happened.
So that lifestyle influencer stole more than $500 worth of stuff from Target. She recorded everything and then went home and posted a haul. It was said that she was scanning fake barcodes. So instead of scanning the items in her cart, she replaced them with cheaper items and scanned those instead. And I mean, we've all seen videos of people shoplifting at Target, Walmart, and all that. But the reason why this video went so viral is because not only did she steal all these items, but she was recording herself stealing, and then she went home, she did a haul, and she also did a day in the life with all the items that she stole. And the only reason she even got caught was because the footage from Target was posted on social media in hopes that someone can recognize her, and one of her followers were like, I follow this influencer on TikTok and Instagram. So they reached out, and that's how they caught her. They were able to match the footage of her stealing at Target with the footage that she took to post on her TikTok, showing off everything that she stole on that day. Now, another reason why this went so viral is because people are questioning how authentic is everything that we see on social media. You know, you see this woman who has this gorgeous house, beautiful furniture, everything just seems to be put together perfectly. And little did you know, she was actually stealing this entire time. This creator has gone back to posting but has turned off all her comments, and it just makes me wonder, how are you able to risk your life, your record, you know, your family, just to have this image on social media that is completely false?
Yeah, we see it all the time. Like, a lot of these influencers like to play this role like they got it like that. And don't get it wrong, there are some influencers that are really loaded, have a lot of money, but there's also a lot of them that aren't. And they like to play this victim like they are. And it's crazy because me and my homies talk about it all the time. We're like, bro, they love to just act rich to stay broke. Like, it's actually crazy. That's what we call it. We call it acting rich to stay broke. Because it's like, why are you buying a $10,000 jacket or like a freaking, you know what I'm saying, when you really don't got the money like that? Like, you're bugging.
These are videos humans were never meant to see. Okay, so we all know how weird Disney is and all the disturbing secrets they have. Well, this man who was at Disney made a wrong turn at the park, and ended up in this secret abandoned place inside Disney. And something about it is completely unsettling. Some people think it's Disney's creepy lair where they do all of their sinister things, and others think it's the back rooms. But just watch how the workers act and watch how scared the man is. Here's the video, and it's super disturbing.
I've been freaking trying to get out of here for the last like 10, 15 minutes. You weren't very fast with that? No, I just freaking tried to go to the bathroom and then I found myself in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I'm freaking, oh, guess. It's my card. Let me get Carol to help me. Yeah. Okay.
How did you get back here?
I just opened a random door and next thing you know I'm in here. What is that?
This is just an old building. I'll walk you out.
Okay.
This needs to get the right person to do it.
Man, talking about stairwell after door after sheesh. What is this place? Whoa. What is this? This big empty area in here. Hello, can you help me out?
Yes.
Please.
You're trying to get out of here?
Yes. Ooh.
Yes, we've got a nice elevator. How'd you find your way up here? You're not even sure?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I think this is right here. I'm gonna say the second floor. We're gonna find out.
Let's talk about the 2-year-old who lost his life at Disney World after a gator attacked him. So here we have 2-year-old Lane Graves. He and his family were from Nebraska, and in 2016, they traveled down to Florida to go to Disney World. On June 15th at around 8 o'clock, the family heads down to Seven Seas Lagoon, where they're screening Zootopia. A little bit about this lagoon. It was man-made, and they had always had an issue of stray gators getting in the water and staying there. On this specific day, at least 2 people had told employees that they had seen a gator in the lagoon area, and they did nothing, or it was too late, as one of them came even an hour before the attack happened. So Lane is on the beach playing around, building sandcastles and such in just inches of water, and when he bends down to get more, a gator comes rushing up out of the water and grabs him by his head. Lane's dad sees it happen and he rushes over, trying to pry Lane's head out of the gator's jaws. Unfortunately, he can't get Lane free, and the gator drags him further out into deeper water. Witnesses say that they saw the gator 20 miles from shore with the boy's feet sticking out from the water. The next day, Lane's body would be found with bites all over him, and experts would go on to call it a predatory attack. They'd also go on to say that they're certain that they tracked down the gator that did this and euthanized it. At the time, the only signs posted were no swimming signs. Now they've posted these signs. Lane's family chose not to sue, and in 2021, 5 years after the attack, in that time, 250 gators had been removed from Disney properties.
Just the way you are. That's our song.
The happy couple left the reception under a canopy of sparklers.
On their beginning of the golf cart ride, she said, I wish this night could go on forever. The best night of her life.
Sam and Eric.
Just a few hours after the wedding ended, the bride would be dead. On April 28, 2023, this woman, Samantha Miller, married her favorite person in the world, Eric Hutchinson. The two had dated for a very long time and were super excited to finally tie the knot. So after months of preparation, the two finally got married in April of 2023. It was a beautiful ceremony and procession according to everyone who attended, and the couple was sent off with this amazing sparkler display. But just moments after leaving the wedding in a low-speed vehicle, they were struck from behind by a driver speeding in another car. Unfortunately, it was a devastating crash, and shortly after the crash, Samantha Miller would be pronounced dead on her own wedding night. The driver of the other vehicle was Jamie Lee Komorowski. Jamie had been speeding 65 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone, and her blood alcohol level was 3 times over the legal limit. It was her reckless driving that ended Samantha Miller's life. Eerily, Jamie's Instagram is still up, and her last post, posted 4 days before the accident, said, "Did someone say tequila?" I mean, it's just disturbing. This is obviously a horrific story, and I hope that there's justice at the end of the day, and that Jamie gets used to the inside of a prison cell. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
Lies that Disney tells to avoid traumatizing children. Pocahontas. She was 10 years old. and he was 27. She called him father. Sleeping Beauty. It is based on a story where a married king finds a sleeping princess. And the princess gave birth to a pair of twins while she was sleeping. The Little Mermaid. The prince married another. And the Little Mermaid turned into sea foam.
That's actually wild. It's crazy how Disney will make really crazy things into this subtle things so kids look at it different. It's kind of like songs back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Flo Rida had a song called You Can Blow My Whistle. When I was a kid, I was like, yo, blowing whistles, I love blowing whistles. And now, hey, yo, and now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy at blowing whistles. Like, what?
Okay, let's make this one quick. People are wondering why Drake dissed LeBron. Well, actually, he didn't. He more so expressed his feelings at LeBron. Hey, what's that? Well, it's a Drake tattoo of somebody who played for a team called the Irish and who wore the number 23. And well, in high school, LeBron played for the Irish and he wore the number 23. Now, Drake getting this tattoo shows you how close he probably thought him and LeBron were. But Drake had a problem. His definition of close is probably different than most people's. Drake's definition of close seems to be one of blind loyalty. Kendrick Lamar dissed me, Drake, so you can't like Kendrick Lamar. LeBron said. LeBron is seen turning up at Kendrick Lamar's concert. Drake said, why he do that? Drake's boy said, I think because he liked Kendrick music. Drake said, that was a rhetorical question, you out the crew. I got something for LeBron. So Drake unfollows LeBron James. How does LeBron respond to this? Well, he doesn't. But many months later, during LeBron's birthday, he's rapping Kendrick Lamar lyrics and looking like he's having a good time. Now, there's two things you gotta know about LeBron. One, LeBron James is a huge hip-hop fan and loves reciting the lyrics to his favorite songs. He does this in a bunch of videos. So there's nothing to read into him reciting Kendrick Lamar's lyrics on his birthday. This is just something he does. He's not dissing Drake. He's not, it's just something he does. And two, LeBron James is a huge fan of Kendrick Lamar. If you're a huge fan of hip-hop, you're probably a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. In fact, it's because of LeBron, Kendrick Lamar released an album called Untitled. LeBron liked his song so much, he told Kendrick to release the songs that he wasn't planning on releasing, his throwaway songs. So Kendrick says sure, and that's how Untitled was released. Now, here's where it starts to get wicked. See, Drake wasn't trying to hear all that. He said, look at this picture. You're supposed to be my boy. So after LeBron's birthday, Drake releases a song called Fighting Irish. Does that sound familiar? LeBron's mascot in high school was called the Fighting Irish. Now, let me be more specific. Drake didn't technically release this song. It was leaked. And I put quotes because Drake and a lot of artists have a history of leaking songs so they can technically fall back on saying, I didn't release a song, it just found its way to the public. Now, like I said, a lot of artists leak songs, but where Drake is different is he leaks diss songs. Because if the song does well, he says, ooh, that was all me. If the song doesn't do well, he says, oh, it was just a leak, and deletes the song. In fact, his first diss song towards Kendrick Lamar, Push-Ups, was a leak. People said, ooh, this song is good. So Drake is like, yeah, that's all me. This song against LeBron James, Fighting Irish, people are like, Drake, that's not it. So the song gets deleted. He says, oh, I don't know. Now, to distance himself even further, he never mentions LeBron James by name. He just says Fighting Irish. He just says, my brother went to the Kendrick Lamar concert. That hurt me. I thought we was cool. I went to a party. I saw you. You didn't talk to me. I thought we was cool. Kendrick Lamar said. Drake said, no, Kendrick, the TikToker making a video about me. You're not supposed to be here. Kendrick said, I'm not going to be here for long. I just wanted to say everything is going according to plan. You see, here's where it starts to get wickeder. All of this might be according to Kendrick's plan. In one of his diss songs towards Drake, he said, LeBron, keep the family away. Steph Curry, keep the family away from Drake. Basically saying Drake is a weirdo. Don't associate yourself with Drake. And well, Kendrick knew how much of a fan Drake was of LeBron and Steph Curry. As soon as I heard this line, I said, oh, Kendrick, a super villain. And like Drake said in his song, when we went to a party, you, most likely LeBron James ignored me. And well, this is just speculation, but maybe it's because LeBron doesn't want to really be associated with Drake anymore. But I say speculation because there could be a million reasons. Maybe LeBron went to the party and didn't see Drake. Maybe LeBron heard Drake unfollowed him. Maybe he heard Drake doesn't like him, so LeBron said, oh, let me just not speak to him. Maybe LeBron just doesn't care and he has a wife and kids and a whole family. A million reasons. Regardless, Drake took it as LeBron ignored me at a party. LeBron always singing Kendrick songs. He likes Kendrick more than me. And Lord, I said I wasn't gonna make this a long video. Bro, if I had to talk about Drake one more time,
You know, I like a lot of the Drake songs, but like Drake is so emotional sometimes. Like this unfollowing and just like, oh my God, he's not supporting me. I mean, I don't know. Drake, you know what I'm saying? I'll admit Drake did do a lot for a lot of people in the industry that did end up turning their back on him. But at the same time, if you have this much people in the industry against you, you got to kind of ask yourself, maybe you're the problem. Because, you know, if it was one person and then, you know what I'm saying, and then like, you know what I'm saying, maybe like one more other person, it's like, you never really know. But if this is like the whole industry, mad people turning on you, you got to ask yourself, maybe I'm the problem. You got to start pointing the thumb instead of pointing the finger, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Drake's at the top of his game, so maybe people just want to knock him off the throne. But at the same time, Michael Jackson's at the top of his game, and not many people wanted to knock him off the top of his throne, except for like people outside the industry. But not many people inside the industry hated Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm kind of looking at like, maybe Drake is the problem, like at this point.
Did y'all hear about what this former WNBA player said about LeBron James? This was 3 years ago when she said this too. With all the stuff going on nowadays, with all these speculation, allegations, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. But this is her right here. Her name is Cappy Pondexter. Maybe she is copping, I don't know. That's why I got y'all for, to let me know what y'all think. But in my mind, only thing she said that was a little off was the last thing she said. I'm like, what?
I ain't confused. I ain't on that shit. That nigga tried to kill me for real. I just fucking got out of that shit. I've been missing for almost like 2 years. I didn't even know where the fuck I was at. I do not fuck with LeBron James. That nigga's a trafficker, my nigga. That nigga is a trafficker. He is a fucking trafficker. He trafficked women in real time. That nigga stole all my money out of my bank account.
I mean, maybe that explains Drake unfollowing LeBron, but nah, that's a crazy allegation. Claim that LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, is a trafficker. I mean, he did say there's no party like a Diddy party, but at the same time, who knows, bro? I want to sit here and be like, I doubt it, but at the same time, you really never know. Some people could be the calmest people and be weirdos in the background, so you never really know. But anyways, I know I've been gone for a little bit. I know this is a little bit of a longer video. If you guys like this video, remember our like goal is 1,000 likes. Happy 2025 to you and your family. Hopefully you guys had a great New Year and Christmas. I've been gone for like a month, it feels like, so you know what I'm saying, had to pump a video out for you guys real quick. I'm trying to be back consistent. Apparently TikTok's also getting banned like next week, but I got like months of TikToks on schedule, so if it does end up getting banned, which I hope it doesn't, I still got like months worth of videos to make. So make sure to stick around for that, and also I'm dropping a vlog video coming soon, so make sure to look out for that. Let me know your thoughts about these TikToks and what's going on in 2025. Catch y'all in the next one.
Thank you all for watching.